As we sit here tonight, we call upon the sacred light of Source, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. We call upon our spirit guides, angels, ascended masters, light beings, and galactic guides, our ancestors, nature spirits, and animal guides. We call upon Archangel Michael, Naisimha, and Hanuman to protect us in this sacred space as we journey. We also invite in the energy of Phi, of sacred geometry, and the spider that weaves the web of protection around us. We also invite in Thoth, the keeper of wisdom, the Akashic records, and time. Thoth, we ask that you open the gates to the Akasha so that we may download knowledge. And finally, we call in Ganesh to open the path forward. Spirit guides, as we sit here tonight, we ask to call in the energy of the dragon and connect with the Chinese New Year. Dragon, we ask that you allow us to download knowledge. Anything you would like us to know about this time of the year and this cycle in the calendar that is of importance to us for the collective of this planet Earth and of our universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, the sacred circle is now open. Namaste.
I see a very large tree. This tree is like the size of it's humongous. I feel it makes me feel super, super tiny. And I feel like I'm in like sort of like a redwood type of forest because I see a bunch of really large trees and I can't necessarily see the tops, but what I do see feels almost like pine-like and drapey, and I feel like I can see only small spots where the sky would be that are very blue. The trees are very almost this brownish red, and the sort of I see pine needles above. I also am getting the sense of them on the ground. And everything has this sort of vibrancy to it, almost as if it's sort of like this feeling of something like humming or buzzing. The green's very green, the red is very like clay red. And you can kind of almost feel my body like vibrating and pulsating a little bit. I can feel it especially around my chest and on my arms. That's all for now.
Immediately when we opened, after Jacqueline finished opening the circle, I feel like I saw maybe the top of what you were seeing, the tree, because I saw like an expansive circle and then kind of like a wormhole of light, not wormhole, but like a funnel of light going in. And this is above Earth, so like a ton of light flooding in from this circle that like it feels like we're holding. And then kind of around the Earth, it feels like this darker, denser pollution almost, which I'm getting is like thoughts. It's like this pollution of mind that is there. And that's all I have. I see waves and it's hitting against sand, and that's all.
I see white lights coming up through the ground as though it was erupting like lava spewing up, but it's all bright light, like the earth is cracking open and light energy is pouring up through. It's coming up as though it's almost like a light show, but it's more dense. It's not a laser. It's just very much like lava spewing up way up high, but it's a light. It's all bright white light. That's all for now.
Kind of what I see, like what Michelle was saying. As soon as Jackson opened the circle, almost a warmth and great bright light like coming up from the ground. And what Dana was saying about what vibration, I felt a lot in my feet, almost like a lighting in my feet, or like maybe like getting grounded. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Like I felt like I was grounding into earth, and like almost like this is like in like a vortex coming like through my body and then coming out of my feet, but then coming up like as you're shifting old things of like they're not, whereas there's white and bright and vibrant and warm, and it happens immediately once it's and then very neat. Like never had this experience, so it's very cool to me, and I'm enjoying it. And that's all for now.
I can get the sense of still standing under the tree, but it's as if I can feel the earth kind of shaking, and I can feel it moving under one foot and then the other, and I can't see it, but it's almost as if I feel this crack in the ground, and I feel like all of that light that you guys were talking about and the explosion and stuff, I can't see it, but I can like feel it. Almost like it's earth shaking and vibrating, and almost like the light has this warmth to it. Not like a heat necessarily, but like a warmth. And it's almost a feeling of it's definitely coming up from underneath, but it also feels like it's coming down from above. But what's coming from above feels like it's also almost like refreshing, like the way you'd imagine the wind to be or something. That's all for now.
As the light comes up, it forms various people and animals and things. So I saw a young boy with his hair off to the side, kind of scruffy, dark hair, fine lines. And then I saw him transform into an older gentleman. Like I saw his life go through. And then I saw similarly almost the birth of what was like a lion cub, and then I saw it turn into the lion older, so I just keep seeing various people and animals, a bird similarly at birth and its evolution continuing to come up through the light. And at one point it looked like the light formed like a finger, like in pointing, saying, "Follow me." And it was something about "follow me." And that's all for now.
So I'm seeing this waterfall in this forest, and I go here very often, actually. And right, it's a very small, when I say waterfall, it's really small. And there's this fairy, but she's about human size, like 4 or 5 feet tall. And like you're all describing, she's just emanating this really white light, and not just her wings, but like her whole body. And she's wearing this like white dress. Everything is translucent, and really ethereal, and kind of this like whitish blue color. And it was interesting because when I first saw her, her face, I couldn't see her face. It was kind of turned away from me. And then as soon as she started turning her face, it was like this dark, what I now realize is like a stone or cement, like the color of cement or stone, but also that energy in her face. And at first I was like, why? Like, this is interesting. Why is her face like that? And then I noticed she's holding something, and she's holding this little bowl, and it's like a ceramic or like concrete bowl. And what I'm feeling is that she, like, this energy that's in her face is being extracted, like it's coming out of her, and it's coming into this bowl. And I almost feel like the energy made the bowl and is also going into the bowl. And I feel like it's, in some aspect, it's like this shadow self of her, but also this energy that's like really heavy and dense that needs to come out. Because, like I said, the rest of her is really light and ethereal, and translucent. So it's this interesting energy of these two aspects. And it's interesting because the whole time, like, I'm looking at her and speaking about her, she just kind of keeps turning her head and looking at me, like almost with a curiosity. Like she wants to show me what she's doing, but she's also kind of shy about it. I don't know. But that's all for now.
As you spoke about this fairy, I kept seeing almost like crystals, like orange like crystals, or possibly lemon colors, and they just sounded, I could hear them like falling into a bowl, and I keep, it's like repeating over and over in my head, like you were to take crystals and dump them into like a selenite bowl. I keep hearing like an overflow of it, and I never see the colors. It's kind of new for me, but spilling over the bowl, I can almost see the fairy angel that you're describing, like a beautiful immense face, but like angelic at the same time, with the whisper of curiosity. But I just see yellow crystals are overflowing the soul, and the noise is getting like louder and brighter, and the lower it gets, the warmer everything is like coming around me. Very, very, very different. I don't know why I keep seeing yellow. I see yellow in the concrete space, the noise, almost overwhelming. Like how that's all I'm picking up right now.
As you were talking, and talking about the sound of the crystals going into the bowl, I started to hear something that sounded like, I could also hear the sound and get that something was falling into the bowl, but it almost sounded like a chinging sound or something like that. I don't know how to describe it, but then I could see two large, and I think they were only large because suddenly they were right in my face, coins, but they had a square in the center, so they were square coins. I feel like I've seen these before. I think there's something that you'll see sometimes if you go into like a metaphysical shop and they have like little like totems and tokens. I've seen them before, and they're like kind of brass, not so much gold, but more brass. And I could also feel as if they were put over my eyes, but I could still see, but I couldn't see as much. Like part of my vision was limited. It's almost like looking through like a peephole or something. And I could see this sort of blast of like, I guess what it's feeling to me like it's sunlight coming down, but it's very like yellow and then orange and like kind of like the colors of fire, but it wasn't fire, it was sunlight. But it was coming down like shining down, like very strong and almost in these sort of pulsating like frequencies, kind of like it strobe lights or something. Like it reminded me of like being on in a club on the floor and the lights going on, but this was very natural, but just super saturated, bright colors of the natural light. And all with the sound of the things going into the bowl. So it was almost like a lot to hear and see. And there's this odd ache in both of my ears right now. And just a feeling of a lot of sort of sensations happening because there's still the vibrating energy. It's a very physical feeling right now. That's all for now.
When you say that, I feel like my hands and my head have its own pulse. Like I feel them pulsing in and out very rhythmically, but very distinctly. That's all for now.
All of a sudden, I'm seeing I have this little galactic guide that I work with, and he came like right in front of my face, and um, he kind of like smirked a little bit, and then he started dancing around with all of these yellow butterflies. And I think it was Crystal, you were saying something about the yellow around this like ethereal being I was seeing. And for me personally, it's a huge thing because I've been doing a lot of solar plexus and masculine healing and kind of coming towards like the end of it. And so I think my guide is also here to remind me or show me the yellow butterfly is kind of representative of me coming to the end of this journey. So yeah, anyway, that's all for now.
I'm feeling a similar pulsating, like rhythmic pulse in mostly my left side, my left palm, and then my heart, and it's like doom, 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 doom. And if I like fall into it, I could almost just like sweep over my whole body. And it's really comforting, honestly. Like a sensation of being held in the heart or in the womb, maybe. That's all for now.
I'm seeing
So
this. Oh, sorry. You can go.
okay. It's just really quick, like all of a sudden I'm seeing this fairy and she just super quickly turned into like bright like diamond energy, like still the same shape and form as she was, but instead of this like soft white blue light, she is just like shining like facets of a diamond. And the bowl that she was holding, I can't quite tell if it's just kind of hanging in the air, but I feel like also some of the energy of it, it's very random, but it turned into a witch broom and she got on top of it and flew away. Which is also funny because she has wings, so I don't know. um, but yeah, anyway, that just I saw her transform into that quickly, so that's all for now.
That's really beautiful. I love that fairies always bring this little bit of like lighthearted humor to it, you know.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I feel like you were definitely meant to say that, because what I was about to say is I'm in this place, but how I got here was it was this feeling of sitting where I'm sitting now in my room where I always do readings and things like that and work. It's right next to a window, and when I open it up sometimes, you know how you open the window up or you open up and the shades and you see the sort of like where the sunlight comes in, you can see the sort of dust and the particles dancing in it. I was seeing that and I felt as if I followed, it's as if the dust particles were kind of dancing and glittering, and then I followed them sort of like into this place. And I've seen this place before, it pops up sometimes, but it's this built into like the side of a mountain, and there'll be different ledges and you'll go up a few steps and they have what looks like a sort of like a stone slab or something, but it's meant almost like it's a stone version of a sort of healing bed or a bed someone would get a massage on or something like that, but it's built into the mountains and each one has like a few more steps up and it's like this private little enclave, but if you look at it from far away you can see them all. And I'm seeing a bunch of people like laying on those healing beds, and I'm feeling like it's all of us or a collective group of people, but they have on like white sort of I guess like gowns or robes or something like that, vaguely Grecian or Roman type of things, but they all are laying there with the coins on their eyes. And their eyes are shut, and I feel like they're in some sort of meditative state. And at the bottom of all of this, on a ledge on the side of the mountain, is this really large gong. Probably the size of like bigger than a large flat screen TV or something, and it's on a stand, and both see and feel and hear that it being hit with this like large mallet, and all of the vibrations from this large like gong are rippling up the mountains and hitting the people as they lay on the sort of healing things. And I feel like this was some sort of either some sort of ancient place where healing was done, or somewhere where healing is done in some sort of ripple multi-dimensional place on earth. And I feel like this is the same realm where elemental energy lives, where dragons live, where it feels like somehow we've gotten there from the sunlight and the lava type of light and all the light that we're seeing and colors and sounds and vibrations, and like that's how it's accessed. And as I'm saying this, it's almost like I feel as if the gong is now in my stomach and it's being struck there with the mallet. And I know this does not sound good, but it's like it does kind of feel good. It feels like something's being like shaken loose, and vibrating outward, and I just have to kind of like allow it to pulsate through me, and I feel like it's going through me and kind of through everyone else that is here as well. That's all for now.
My body got so many chills as you were just speaking that, like, it's almost like I was able to imagine it and just be there and be able to feel the energy of the gong. And yeah, I felt something in my lower chakras, like the solar plexus area. And then I imagined the gong inside me too, and I felt this energy just coming up, like through all of my chakras. So it's really cool. That's all for now.
I got the same feeling this summer, and as she was telling the story about or the being, but then I started to fret because I was going to chime in before they mentioned like the energy I coming out of my hands, and then as and went back and forth with you guys about the broomstick and all of that, and flying away. I had to start to see it right in the palm of my hand. Fire is from my palm. I hear the song at the same time, like in my stomach, and the vibration I see in the rock, and the gong will hit, and break open, and butterflies, yellow ones, fly out and up, and I'm like sitting there in the yoga pose. Um, kind of when you're standing, your legs are, your arms are kind of adjacent a little bit on the same side, and kind of like an Egyptian walk, I guess you can say. And it's like all of us are standing there in the circle with our arms up, and there's fire coming out of our hands, but I feel the breeze of the broomstick flying by, which is really odd, but I feel the vibration of the song. There's fire coming from the palms of my hands. They never get warm, even like me being an energy healer, I get cold. But like right now, I'm kind of like shivering, my teeth are quivering. I don't know if you can hear it, which is really weird because I'm not cold. But my palms of my hands right now are like on fire, and I just see like fire dance coming out of my hands. But and then I feel the breeze from fairy flying, but I hear the gong, and again, it's these rocks in the background hanging, and when they break open, just these beautiful yellowish orange butterflies up and out, and very beautiful yet real at the same time. But that's all I have for right now.
That's really beautiful. As you were talking, Spirit was showing me this sort of long long kind of curvy instrument that both had a metal look to it, but it was bendable and moving. And it was going from, I felt like it was going from my ear, but also from other people's ears. And it was blowing as if the way someone would blow into like a trumpet or some sort of horned instrument. But then what was coming out at the end of it wasn't sound, but it was colors of like red and yellow and orange. And it was going into the lower chakras of everybody. Like it was hitting like, it wasn't starting at the root, it was starting its way down and ending at the root. But I could, like, the colors were reversed. So there was red, yellow, and orange. And it was just blowing this sort of sound vibrational energy into everything. And I'm also like aware too around this mountainous area of there being some sort of cave that's above everything. And I feel like there's an entrance to it. And I was like, I don't know if it wasn't there before, if I didn't notice it. And I don't know if this is my monkey mind going in and saying that the um way the hoses looks and moves reminds me of sort of the fluidity that you're seeing when a dragon's moving through the air or something like that. That's all for now.
I just got a really quick message of Spirit saying that the dragons are one of the protectors of the earth, which I thought is beautiful. And that's all.
That's really beautiful, Jacqueline. When you said that, I heard ripple blowers. I don't know what that means, but that's what I heard.
Ripple blossoms.
It's really interesting. Now I feel like I'm sitting in a tree. I'm sitting in the same tree I saw in the beginning, and I'm all the way up there because I can see the branches and I can see, again, with the pine needles, and I feel like I'm trying to look through them. And I can see the blue sky behind it, but it's so thick it's hard to see. And I get the feeling of being in a nest. I feel like I'm a baby bird in the nest, and I can see the texture of the nest, like all of the twigs and pine needles being that were used to build the nest. And um I feel like I'm like there and I'm waiting, and there's this feeling of like trying to open my mouth like large enough to eat or something like that. And I just feel like I instinctively feel like I'm waiting for a worm to eat. I can't believe I'm saying this. It feels weird to me. Um It feels even stranger to me too. 'Cause they used to, and this is gonna sound weird. I used to have a worm phobia as a kid. I was scared of them. I don't know anyone else that's scared of worms, but for me to say that like I'm like have my mouth open waiting to eat a worm is like not something I'd ever thought I'd say. But it's a feeling of being in the nest, and it reminds me of what was happening before with the birth of the bird and the birth of the lion club and the young boy into the older man. Like I feel like I'm this like baby bird in that tree. That's all for now.
As you were talking, I saw a lot of people come in. And I see eyes a lot, and in the eye, I saw the fairy, the butterfly, the baby bird, all just kind of come in and kind of just be absorbed in this purple. But things that we were talking about, particularly the butterfly and the fairy, and at the end, that bird, I want to follow that bird a little bit more. So that's it for now. But the bird keeps coming in, Dana, pretty strongly. So I'm gonna follow it for now. That's it for now.
You know, something I just realized as I'm sitting here is that when I first opened the circle, I had a ton of tension in my head. And I thought maybe because I do have a lot of tension in my back or my neck and just my body in general. I've been doing a lot of cleaning and stuff. And so I thought, oh, it's just the tension in my body. But I just realized as I'm sitting here now, it's gone. It went away. So there was some kind of clearing, I think, with that fairy and the yellow. Yeah, because I feel much better. It's great. That is all for now.
As you were talking, Jacqueline, I could, like, it's as if I started to smell the smell of incense burning. And this is nothing that I have. It's the sort of incense that you smell like if you go into like a temple or almost like kind of also the smell that you get sometimes when you go into a really old house. And it's almost like the smell of like the walls and the wood and the just something that feels like kind of aged and old and just like almost weathered, but it's the smell of wood and it's also the smell of smoke and fire and kind of all of those things going together. It feels connected to the energy you were talking about, like
Actually, I can feel it. And as you were talking, I'm starting to see one of our spirit guides, this Indian Navajo man, and he has a stick and what looks like Palo Santo. And as you were speaking, he's like in my face with it, and he's like going around and smudging me basically. But he has this really happy look on his face, which is funny. Yeah, that's all for now. Thank you. Okay, well, oh, sorry, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm seeing these hands outstretched, and it's holding a green jewel that's four-pointed, and there's this really beautiful, peaceful mist kind of forming around this very white circle in the middle inside the jewel. And as I peer into that, I feel a green dragon like come up over and begin to look at me, and I feel like the breath come out of the nose and an acknowledging like tilt of the head. And in that, a jewel opens in their third eye and it turns more blue. And I feel almost like these musical notes are coming back into the hands and then back into the jewel and then spreading out from there. That's it for now.
saw something very similar, except the jewel that I saw on the crown was red. It was very similar to what you described. It was like I went deep into the red of the jewel. And then I was absorbed into it. That's it for now.
Something I heard when you were speaking about the jewel and the sound frequencies is Spirit said the pineal gland is singing. So something about the sound frequency is connecting to our third eye. And that's all for now.
As you were talking about the jewel and the green dragon, I was feeling almost this like kind of heat on my face, almost as if like when you get close to like a space heater or some sort of like something like that, and it kind of almost warms the side of your face. That was the feeling I was getting with the dragon, like it was warming something or almost blowing something on us. That's all for now.
There's a lot of energy concentrated in my third eye now. That same kind of radiating like pulse. Just the slow, like it feels like maybe an opening, like a massaging of it, I guess would be. That's all for now.
It's interesting, Summer, when you were saying that, I was seeing almost as if your third eye was like a house, and on the front of the house there was a door, and there was a screen door in front of like the front door, and it was almost as if the screen door got like the hinges on it got removed and the screen door came off the door to the house. Interesting imagery, but that's what I was getting, as if some sort of filter or something was being like removed or lifted or taken away. That's connected to what you said. That's all. I'm seeing it's as if I just entered into a store and I went through the front door of the store and I could hear the bell ringing. Sometimes it's on the top of a door, like in a store. And when I go in, it's as if I came in from the outside, like on the street where there's a lot of lights, and I go inside and it's very dark, but like in a cozy kind of way. And this might be like an antique store or a collectible store or someplace like that, because I can see these like wooden cabinets and like wooden chairs. It's very wooden there and very like kind of like dark and comforting. And I can, on the left hand side and on the right hand side, there's a row of like cases, and it has things like maybe there's jewelry in there and small little collectibles and tchotchkes and things like that. And I feel like I'm walking up to a case and I see the sort of trays that are on the like clear glass case, and I can see a tray, and it's like once I look at it, then the tray's on the top of the case, and it has a tray with a bunch of coins in it. And I feel like they're very old coins, and they're different than the other coins I was seeing. They don't have the hole in the center, but there's just like a tray of all different coins. And I feel like Spirit put it on the case for me to look at, but I'm just looking at it. I'm not touching it or picking them up or anything, but I just see all the coins kind of, and they're all coins, but they're different. They have different textures and different colors and different sizes. Some of them are more perfectly round than others. Some are just kind of roundish. And I just feel like I'm in this whole like store, and there's all of these things to like explore and see. I'm just gonna kind of sit with this place for a little bit and see what else I get. But that's all for now. And as I sit there and kind of am in this place, I feel like I'm watching this man that works behind the counter. I feel like it's his store, and he has long white hair pulled into a ponytail, and he has very long fingers, and he's putting the coins that are on the tray into those little like they have these little like white cardboard cases that have like film over them that you can put like collectible things into. He's putting the coins into there, and he's labeling them with like a pen in black ink, very tiny and very neatly and very precisely. But I can't like read what he's putting on them. And he's putting them in like a pile as he's doing that. I feel like they're going away into something that kind of resembles, it's a little bigger than a shoebox, but it's the boxes you can buy to put photos in. I feel like he just put it on the shelf, and then that's, I don't know, it's almost like that's it from that. Like I'm done with that, you know? I feel like he put something away.
So I got something else. I'm seeing, it's funny because normally I see a lot of really big details, but Spirit is just dropping little messages to me tonight. And I was starting to hear the wind going through the trees. And then all of a sudden, I was seeing these two trees, and there was a dragon that was like in between the two trees, and he's looking at me with this like really cunning look. And he's like, I'm watching you. And not in a bad way, but just in a really kind of humorous, humorous but serious way. He's almost like, I have my eyes on you. And I feel like we can speak to the dragon through the wind, is what he's telling me. We can whisper to the dragon through the wind. That's all for now.
I feel like I'm getting this idea from Spirit that like this kind of urgency of like the putting the box away and the dragon kind of being like, it feels like these times are kind of very, as much as there is play, there is this sense of like things are getting put in order, and there is like choices to make that are gonna get us there quicker, I guess. And like the coins are kind of representing a time, like time to me, or numbers, and a labeling of like different eras that are just kind of being put together and kind of like compressed. Time is shrinking, and or yeah, that's it for now.
As you were talking about like, thinking like almost reflecting on we're making, I kind of took that with the trees, and it kind of like whisked me away to like a outer bank type of thing, like it's dark now, not quite, and not sunny or springish anymore. Almost like I'm like Lake George almost, you know, completely really no. It's like I'm standing with on the bank, and I'm overlooking like this humongous moon. It's really, 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 really dark. But the stars and the moon, and it's definitely on age, but the movie Never Ending Story, they think and Alcor, and seeing him off like across from the moon, like going through the moon. But the girl, I don't know if it's all of us, there's a bunch of little beings standing on this outer bank here, like, but they look like they're contemplating something with boxes, putting stuff in boxes, putting boxes and sweep off like into the water, feel and hear the water, the vibrations from the water, and they're like packing up boxes and putting maybe away options in the box, and just the dragon, the pink Alcor dragon, like circling the moon. Okay, also this bluebird just appeared somewhere. Okay, I don't know where that came from. Blue bar, you just eat. They're, I don't know who it is, but they're nut boxes, closing them, and they like drift off into sea or the lake. I don't think it's the ocean, I think it's the lake. Very kind of light ripples, Very beautiful, like very, very dark. The moon is so bright. And the stars are so bright. And it's almost like a feeling of peace, like it's gonna be okay. It's okay. One box is shut, another one's gonna open, and open it and then close it again and put it away. But yeah, that's all.
You know, as I was listening to both of you talk, I could definitely get the sense of this sort of, and even when Jacqueline was talking, this dragon speaking through the wind, but also speaking through what you were saying, and I'm seeing just these like, almost like just lips and then just swirls of energy blowing. So almost like the way when you look at like, drawings or illustrations of the wind, they're just this like swirling kind of spiraling energy. And I could see the energy being put into these boxes. And when you said when one box shuts, another opens, so it's this sort of like incredible release of energy that just like fell off of the front of my body. It's like it fell off of like my throat and my heart and my stomach. And I felt like it went into a box. And then another box opened, and it feels like it's just the exchange of like me hearing that shutting a box is making room for another one to open is just like it was an incredible sense of comfort. And created this sort of space that I wasn't necessarily aware needed to be created really that clearly. But I feel a lot better than I was feeling before.
It's funny that you say you felt like a sense of comfort or like something and like to make it feel better. Um, it's something like that we're taught kind of in my Reiki classes. And as you were talking about the energy exchange almost and the box as well, doing the chakra symbol. I don't know if anybody's really familiarized symbol, but it's a master symbol and energy healing. And I'm able to give distance healing, obviously, for being certified and level 3. But it's like coming from like the middle of my forehead. Symbols are coming out of my forehead and into the spot. And as you were saying that, I was like standing there, almost like projecting to all of you, like big great symbol, and it was like going through all of you, like in a collective almost. But then the left, and it didn't get past and go and just poof, poof into the night. But yeah, that was pretty neat as you were saying that. Just started like envisioning it. That's all for now.
You know, it's interesting to hear you, talk about the symbols because as I was, talking, I was doodling these sort of like spiral things, and there is this feeling of it being like representative of something, like a symbol in itself. But it's just this sort of spiral shape. And then when you said it was, connected with the Reiki symbol, I feel like called to like look into that and to understand more about that. I'm getting this sort of feeling like this shop and this place that I went to with the coins on the tray and this man sort of putting the coins away and putting the boxes away. It feels almost like an Akashic record sort of place, but it doesn't feel like it's for me or anyone else that's here. It almost feels like it's like an Akashic record type place for like society or people in general. And maybe in how we give and exchange energy, and somehow it feels like the coins being put away feels like something about like the energy of money or the exchange of energy on earth, and like how we do it is like being like put to bed or moved from one place to the other, and it's somehow connected with this energy that we've been seeing tonight with like the trees and the light and the wind and all of that stuff. It's like it's connected to how things are being put in order, and if we're talking about time shrinking, we're also talking about like how everything, the way we look at like prosperity or abundance or connection or all of that feels like it's shrinking too, like changing. And as it shrinks, then it allows other parts of it to expand. And I feel now like I'm sitting near a fire and I can hear the fire crackling. I can feel the warmth of the fire on my face, and that smell again of like wood, like burning wood is there for me. And kind of get that, having that feeling right now, like when you're all warm and near the fire or in bed and you just feel like really tired. Like you could like go to sleep. That's what I'm feeling right now. Warm and content and kind of like tired.
As you were right before you said that, Dina, about feeling warm and comfortable, I was like filled with anxiety and like I put myself on mute because I was like moving around and but as you were talking about this just warm energy and everything, I came back and like I just realized I'm super still and really calm again. I'm definitely fully back in my body. But yeah, no more anxiety, so that's good. That's all for now.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that back in my body presence too. Um, does anyone else have any messages they'd like to deliver, or anything they'd like to share with the group? Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and close the circle, and then after I close, we can kind of do a check-in. Thank you, Spirit, for all that you've shared with us and showing us tonight. Thank you to the energy of the dragon that stepped forward. Thank you to the wind and the fairies and the yellow butterflies, the trees, all of the light coming through, the earth energy, the mountains and the gongs and the coins. We are deeply thankful and eternally grateful to all spirits and eternal light beings who joined us tonight. We thank you for the wisdom and knowledge you shared, the guidance you provided, and the gifts that you gave us. And we ask for you to continue to give us this guidance in the coming days, as weeks, as we work to fully integrate the messages delivered here for further awareness and healing. Help us release any energy that is not of our highest and greatest good to carry, and shed what no longer serves us. And in doing so, may we be refilled with the eternal sacred love of Source. And may the divine white light of love shine down onto us and be with us through all of our days. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with this, the sacred circle is closed.